Women in the hall. Thank you, all the women in the hall. This is about us, for us, by a very distinguished woman.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria, Fatima, who is representing the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and your very beautiful wife, Hajia Nana Fatima, who is also representing the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The President of Sierra Leone, Your Excellency, the chairman of this occasion. At this stage, I think I will stand on protocol, because I do, as has been said earlier, protocol is a nightmare. So please forgive me if I stand on protocol at this stage. Today, we are gathered not only to celebrate a remarkable milestone, the 84th birthday of my dear husband, His Excellency, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, GCFR, but also to witness the unveiling of 3 important books that chronicle a life of service, sacrifice, and enduring impact. We are collectively affirming a life dedicated to the relentless pursuit of peace. Significantly, one of the books is an autobiography that offers personal window into a journey that has shaped not only our family, but the destiny of our nation. Additionally, we are also unveiling the Abdulsalami Abubakar African Resource Center, an initiative that will sustain his legacy and provide a rich resource for history, scholarship, and peace-building practices across the world. For many, he is a statesman, a former head of state, and a respected advocate for the peace and conflict resolution. His demonstrated capacity in mediation with humility and forbearance are attributes learned from his father, who served his community as Sarkin Kasuwa Mina, that is market tribe. His career path and transition paved the way to statesmanship, and as always admitted by him, the will of Allah positioned him to serve as Nigeria's head of state and commander-in-chief. For us, his family, he is much more. He is a devoted husband, a loving father, and a steady presence whose influence has shaped our lives in quite but profound ways. He was always there for his family, and even when he wasn't physically present, we felt connected to him. I vividly recall when my second child was born in Sokoto. He was then in the United States on course. It was 1975, before mobile phones, and only few places had accessible landline telephones. He called on July 5th to check in, and I gave birth the next day, July 6th. The same thing happened when the birth of my third child in Mina. He was away again in the United States. I had delivered early in the morning on Saturday, and when my father visited that afternoon, he told me my husband had earlier called around 3 a.m. to ask how we were. So despite being far from us, it always seemed like he was deeply attuned to our lives. His dedication to both his family and work was outstanding. He experienced multiple transfers to various locations, including Lebanon and other countries, and faced every assignment without complaint, regardless of its challenges. Sorry. The paper doesn't want to work. Finally. To simplify things for the family, he reduced the stress of frequent moves. He settled us in Mina, relocating alone to each new post and visiting us whenever possible. Even during his absences, he ensured we never lacked anything. One of the qualities I admire most in him is his remarkable patience and tolerance. Where others might take offense, he chooses understanding. Where some might hold onto grievances, he forgives very easily. I often joke that I am one who gets upset on his behalf. Something our daughter captures perfectly when she says, "You are taking Panadol for his headache." It is a phrase that always makes us smile, but it also reflects a deep truth. His peace-loving nature is not only personal, it is the very foundation of his work in conflict resolution and peace building. By 1998, my husband was approaching retirement and began making preparations for it. Meanwhile, after years spent apart, I was eager to finally live together as a typical family. At that point, I decided not to pursue a career path that would separate me from my beloved ones. However, fate intervened, and on June 8, 1988, he was called upon to serve as head of state and commander-in-chief at a critical moment in our nation's history. His task was not just about governance. It was about healing a nation, bridging divides, and paving the way for democracy. He carried the weight of history with grace and dignity, proving that leadership is not about power, but service. There were doubts that the proposed transition program could be realized within a short time committed to. However, led by his characteristic humility, discipline, and commitment to national duty, he assured Nigerians he would deliver. His Excellency kept his word. Along with his colleagues and supported by well-meaning Nigerians, he fulfilled the pledge and successfully ushered Nigeria into the Fourth Republic on 29th May 1999. In moments of power, character is tested. A lesson I learned is that a leader who begins with honorable intentions and derails later is often enabled in that direction by sycophants and persons whose vested interests allow it. We witnessed such acts of sycophancy and pressure from people to extend his stay in office, albeit unsuccessfully. It is the hallmark of his strength of character and integrity that he had no difficulty in rejecting them. He believes in the values of integrity and treating people with fairness. Today, we celebrate not just his achievements, but the legacies he continues to build. To those who have chronicled his journey in the pages of the books to be launched, I say thank you for capturing the essence of a man whose life transforms nations. These books will serve as invaluable resources for generations to come, reminding us all that leadership, when anchored in integrity and selflessness, can truly transform lives. To our children, you remain a mentor who has instilled in them the values of hard work, humility, and patriotism. Your patience, wisdom, and unwavering belief in doing what is right are qualities that continue to inspire not only our family, but those who encounter you. I therefore stand before the world to pay tribute to a remarkable man, my husband, my friend, and my confidant, His Excellency General Abdulsalami Abubakar. My dear husband, we celebrate you, not just for all you have done, but for who you are. Your life has touched countless hearts, strengthened a nation, and anchored a family in love. I once again, happy birthday, and many more years in love and peace. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria and all of us. I thank you all for listening. How do I?